There is a unique anxiety that defines our modern age. It is the quiet, persistent hum of a life half lived. The feeling that while we are here doing this, the real party, the real success, the real meaning is happening somewhere else, with someone else. We scroll through the curated highlight reels of other people's lives, a constant stream of perfect vacations, beautiful meals, and triumphant achievements. And with each scroll, the anxiety deepens. Am I doing enough? Am I experiencing enough? Am I happy enough? It has a modern name, FOMO, the fear of missing out. But it is an ancient sickness, and its diagnosis and its surprising cure can be found in the words of a man who lived nearly 3,000 years ago. He is perhaps the most modern, the most bracingly honest, and the most psychologically astute voice in the entire Old Testament. He calls himself Qoheleth, the preacher, the teacher, the one who gathers an assembly. And his book, Ecclesiastes, is not a collection of religious platitudes. It is the journal of a grand existential experiment, an unflinching, systematic, and often brutal investigation into the search for meaning in a world that seems to offer none. If you have ever felt exhausted by the endless pursuit of more, if you have ever suspected that the game is rigged, then you have found a kindred spirit in Qoheleth. His book opens with one of the most famous and haunting phrases in all of literature. "Vanity of vanities," says the preacher, "vanity of vanities." All is vanity. But before we proceed, we must perform a crucial act of intellectual restoration. The English word vanity is a weak and misleading translation. It implies that life is merely trivial or narcissistic. The original Hebrew word is Hevel. And Hevel does not mean vanity in our sense. It means vapor, smoke, a fleeting breath. Think of the difference. Smoke is not trivial. It is real. You can see it, you can smell it, but you cannot grasp it. You cannot build with it. You cannot hold on to it. It is beautiful, mysterious, and fundamentally insubstantial. It is here one moment and gone the next. This is Qoheleth's core diagnosis of the human condition. Life is not meaningless in a nihilistic sense. It is Hevel. It is a vapor. It is a beautiful, chaotic, and uncontrollable reality that we can experience, but never possess. And our primary anxiety, our FOMO, comes from the exhausting and futile attempt to grasp the smoke. Having established his diagnosis, Qoheleth embarks on his experiment. He decides to systematically test every single path that promises a solid, graspable meaning in a world of Hevel. First, he pursues wisdom. He devotes himself to study, to understanding the deep patterns of the world. But his conclusion is bleak. For in much wisdom is much vexation, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. He learns that a brilliant mind does not insulate you from pain. It simply makes you more acutely aware of the world's brokenness. The path of pure intellect leads not to peace, but to a more profound sadness. So he pivots to the opposite extreme. "Pleasure," he says. "I said in my heart, 'Come now, I will test you with pleasure. Enjoy yourself.' He holds nothing back. He seeks laughter, he drinks wine, he builds magnificent houses and gardens, he acquires singers and concubines, he amasses silver and gold beyond any king before him. He denies himself nothing his eyes desire. This is the ultimate hedonistic experiment. And the result? And behold, all was Hevel and a striving after wind, and there was nothing to be gained under the sun. The pleasure is real, but it is fleeting. It is a temporary distraction, not a lasting foundation. He discovers the hedonic treadmill, the human tendency to quickly return to a stable level of happiness despite major positive events. The next thrill never satisfies for long. Next, he turns to accomplishment, to legacy, to work. He builds, he creates, he toils, and for a moment he finds a temporary satisfaction in his labor. But then a devastating thought occurs to him. He will die. And everything he has worked for, everything he has painstakingly built, he must leave to the man who will come after me, and who knows whether he will be wise or a fool. This realization is crushing. The pursuit of a lasting legacy is also Hevel, a chasing after the wind. Because the one thing we cannot control is the future. This is the central problem that Qoheleth keeps returning to, the great intellectual wall he cannot get over. There are two uncontrollable variables that mock all our striving: time and death. He observes the relentless, cyclical nature of time. A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down. What has been is what will be, and there is nothing new under the sun. Our individual lives, our great dramas, are just a tiny blip in an endless, impersonal cosmic cycle. And then there is death, the great equalizer. It is the final, brutal fact that renders all our earthly distinctions absurd. He writes, "The same event happens to the righteous and the wicked, to the good and the evil. As is the good, so is the sinner. And ultimately, the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing, and they have no more reward. In the face of death, the CEO and the janitor, the scholar and the fool, all share the same fate. So what are we to do? If wisdom brings sorrow, pleasure is fleeting, work is futile, and we are all undone by time and death. Is the only logical conclusion a bleak, nihilistic despair? This is where Qoheleth performs his most brilliant and surprising pivot. After 10 chapters of brutally deconstructing every false path to meaning, he does not offer a grand, philosophical solution. He doesn't offer a secret to escaping the Hevel. Instead, he offers a secret to living within it. His prescription is repeated throughout the book, and it is shockingly simple. He says, "I commend joy, for man has nothing better under the sun but to eat and drink and be joyful. For this will go with him in his toil through the days of his life that God has given him under the sun." Again and again, he returns to this theme. There is nothing better for a person than that he should eat and drink and find enjoyment in his toil. This also, I saw, is from the hand of God. Go, eat your bread with joy and drink your wine with a merry heart. Enjoy life with a wife whom you love, all the days of your Hevel life that he has given you under the sun. Let us be clear. This is not the cynical hedonism he already tried and rejected. This is something different. It is a kind of sacred realism. After proving that we cannot find lasting meaning in the future, legacy, or in grand ideals, wisdom, Qoheleth argues that the only place meaning can be found is in the small, tangible, embodied moments of the present. The joy of a good meal, the pleasure of a glass of wine, satisfaction in a day's work, the love of a partner. These are not distractions from the search for meaning. For Qoheleth, these are the meaning. They are, as he says, a gift from God. This is a radical, countercultural philosophy. Qoheleth's cure for the anxiety of Hevel is not to try harder, to achieve more, or to find a better system. His cure is to gratefully and mindfully receive the simple gifts of the present moment. It is an ancient call to a kind of spiritual mindfulness. So how is this 3,000-year-old wisdom the ultimate antidote to our modern anxiety of FOMO? FOMO is the belief that the good life is happening somewhere else. It is a life lived in the hypothetical future or in the curated past of someone else's social media feed. It is a constant striving after wind, an attempt to grasp the smoke of a perfect life that is always just out of reach. Qoheleth's entire philosophy is a direct assault on this anxiety. He holds up his hands and says, "I have tried it all. I have chased every form of more, and it is all Hevel. It is all smoke. You will never catch it." His brutal honesty is the first step of our therapy. It gives us permission to stop running, and his prescription is the second step. The good life is not happening somewhere else. It is not in the future. It is not on your screen. The good life, the only one you will ever have, is the one that is happening right here, right now, in your own body, at your own table, with your own people. The joy of the sun on your skin, the taste of your coffee, the satisfaction of a task completed, the sound of a loved one's laughter. These are not the prelude to the meaningful life. These are the meaningful life. They are the solid, tangible gifts from God in a world of uncontrollable vapor. The book of Ecclesiastes is a sacred permission slip to get off the hamster wheel, to stop chasing the wind. It invites us to accept the world's beautiful, terrifying, and uncontrollable heaviness, and to defy it not with striving, but with gratitude. It is the ancient voice that whispers to our anxious, overstimulated, and FOMO-ridden souls. Stop scrolling, stop striving, stop comparing, and for a moment, just for a moment, simply receive the gift of your own fleeting and precious life. That, says the preacher, is the beginning of wisdom, and it is the end of fear.